there's a younger quarterback out there who it looks like he don't need no help. Jayden Daniels is going to have the best rookie season of any quarterback in NFL history. Yes, I said it, better than C.J. Stroud, and he is going to lead the Washington Commanders to an NFC East championship. The Commanders at 3-1 right now look dominant, and you may look at them and say, oh, it's just the same old Commanders. They're fluky wins, blah, 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 blah. Dig into this shit and look at this team. They are far and away. It's not even close. They are far and away the most efficient offense in the NFL this year. I look at the stats. EPA per play, they're at a .31. The next closest team is Matty J's beloved Buffalo Bills at a .172. They have been by far the most efficient offense in the NFL. Jayden Daniels with 4 rushing touchdowns on the season so far. And the thing that moves me the most about Jayden Daniels is, it's the efficiency and the accuracy. He has the highest completion percentage of not just any player over their first 4 games, of any player over any 4-game stretch in NFL history. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, all those guys. Jayden Daniels has been the most accurate of any quarterback through 4 games. And it's a Jayden Daniels thing. He's changing the culture of this team. He's building it brick by brick. But you look at these other guys on that offensive line, they are showing up and they are showing out. The Washington Commanders are the 4th-ranked team on PFF in terms of pass blocking. And in terms of run blocking, they're a little bit down there. But when you have an athlete like Jayden Daniels, the run blocking doesn't matter as much because he's gonna elevate your run game by himself. Having that threat on the read options, we're seeing it with Brian Robinson. He's fucking eating. Yeah. And this team overall, Cliff Kingsbury. Yes. Yep. Cliff Kingsbury is known for his college-style offense. And it's supposed to be very simple. When you have a quarterback like this who isn't going to make mistakes, who's going to make the right read, who, if there is no read to be made, he'll get 5 yards with his legs, maybe 10. It'll work. And we're seeing that this system, by an elite quarterback, not no Kyler Murray, by an elite quarterback, can be elevated. And, just some other stats. 3rd in the league in points per game, 6th in yards per game, 4th in yards per play. 4th in yards per play. And the thing that stands out to me, the last thing I'll leave us with, and I know you're about to tell me how ass the defense is, and I can't wait to hear it, but the thing that stands out to me is they're 1st in the NFL in 3rd down conversion percentage at 53%. And it's a small sample. I'm pretty sure it's only 3 attempts, but they are 100% on 4th down conversion percentage. And that is showing me that when this team needs it, they are getting it. And the eye test backs that up. We saw it in the Bengals game. Obviously, it wasn't needed as much because they fucking steamrolled the Cardinals. It wasn't needed as much. There weren't any really clutch, big moments. But we saw what we needed to see in that Bengals game. When there is a play to be made, number 5 will make it. And he changes the course of this franchise. And the last thing I'll leave it with is the Eagles are in shambles. The Cowboys are missing their best 2 pass rushers for the foreseeable future and also look like shit. And then there's that other blue team that... But if they do beat the Cowboys...
Right. Nah. Yeah, you made a ton of great points. This Commanders offense is on a insane pace that we did not think possible. And you mentioned that offensive line. This is an offensive line that gave up 72 sacks last year when old Sammy Boy was under there. And
what a surprise. It was his fault.
Come on.
That's not what people were saying last. People were blaming him, but people were calling the Commanders offensive line the worst in the league. When you give up the most amount of sacks by far, that's what's going to happen. And for you to, from a confidence standpoint, for this offensive line to
bounce back like this,
that's huge. And
a couple new pieces, but yeah.
Right, yeah. But having a scrambling quarterback definitely helps that. Like a guy who really knows how to use his legs and make plays. Jayden Daniels loves to take off and run. But you've got Brian Robinson, looks like a beast. Terry McLaurin has the quarterback that he's been desperately waiting for. Austin Eckler looks young again. We all thought Austin Eckler was done.
Even Zach Ertz has some pop.
Zach Ertz is making plays out there. He's number 9 in receptions for tight ends on the year. insane. De'Ami Brown, I didn't know who the fuck that was before this year, but
That's my dog.
He's
UNC legend.
He's out there, man.
Dynamic
Shout out him.
Noah Brown.
Noah Brown, yeah. Who knew?
Zacchaeus, what the fuck?
But yeah, you mentioned Jayden Daniels. What, he's at 86% completion percentage. That's not normal. And you said that you mentioned that stat too. It was across any 4 games with Brady, Breeze, and Peyton Manning. Anytime you're on a list with those guys, you're doing everything right. Not just something right, you're doing everything right. So the offense is on a historic pace. The defense, Matt, I'm sure you got all the numbers there. I'm gonna let you handle that. Oh no, okay, you didn't. All right, well, but their defense, a little bit to be desired on that side of the ball. So the NFC East, if there was a time for them to jump up and take the lead, though, I agree it is this time. Like you said, the Cowboys are in shambles. The Eagles are in shambles. I'm thinking that with them getting their basically best offensive players back besides Saquon in Lane Johnson, Smitty, and Brown, thinking they'll hopefully return to some form of themselves. But last year they sucked with all those guys too towards down the stretch of the season. So why not the commies, man? Why not us?
Yeah, before you go, Matt, I just want to say, like, that was a really good point about why the hell not, because I saw someone tweet out pretty much the same thing. If there was ever a year for those, lesser 2 teams in the NFC East to close the gap a little bit, this was the year, and the Commanders stood the assignment, while the team in blue did not. And that's that.
Wow.
Fuck the team
It
in
just
blue.
needs to take his shots on the Giants like the Commanders have played anyone of success to this point.
Ooh.
But, the Giants, granted, lost to the Commanders, but what the fuck are we at this point either?
Without scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, we didn't have a kicker, but it's okay. So I actually love Jayden Daniels. Massive Jayden Daniels fan. It sucks that we're going to have to deal with him for the next 15 to 20 years. And I do think this Commanders offense is really good. Don't get me wrong. One of the most efficient offenses of all time through the first 4 games of the season, if not the most efficient offense of all time. Through the first 4 seasons, we had Jayden Daniels having arguably the greatest rookie performance on primetime television of all time as well. So, look, I got nothing against this Commanders offense. They're great. They're awesome. But they also haven't played any legitimate tests on defense throughout the entirety of this schedule to this point. So the last 2 weeks, obviously, we want to talk about how great they've been. They played a horrific Bengals defense, and they played a horrific Cardinals defense. But the next 2 weeks, we get a test. We get to see the Browns, and we get to see the Ravens against the Commanders. That's legit. If they could show something through those 2 games, I'll completely change my entire outlook on what this team can be. But there's another side to the football. There simply is. And they are by far the worst on that side of the football. And that matters. Do I think they can win 8 games? Sure. Do I think this is sustainable? No, because the rest of their schedule does not let up. They don't get to see the Cowboys till after the fact that Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence are likely going to be back.
The Cowboys don't want to see Jayden Daniels.
Oh,
that
my
defense?
God.
The defense was ass even with those guys.
Defense is in shambles.
Defense was ass even with those guys. They don't want to see Jayden Daniels. Oh, my God.
And then you talk about the future of this. Like, it is a lot of great defense that they're going to have to play. It's some good offenses that they're going to have to play here. The Ravens will probably make the Commanders their personal bitch and punching bag. But I don't see a future where the Commanders win this division. The Eagles are dealing with a couple injuries right now, but we're expecting Smitty and A.J. Brown to be back. They're going to be a better football team than the Washington Commanders. They're only a game back. That's it. It's not like the Commanders have built some sort of hefty lead in this division. I genuinely do not think they're all that good of a football team. I think they have a great offense, a horrific defense, and that's going to equate to just about an average team that's going to be super fun to watch. And I have nothing against the fact that I will love watching Commanders football this year. I will. I'm a Giant fan. I'll love watching Commanders football this year. But you can't hide that they're last in EPA per play on defense. They're last in success rate on defense. They're last in dropback EPA and last in dropback success rate on defense. Their run defense is a little bit better, but it's still towards the bottom of the league. They're not good. They're not a good football team. They're having a great run right now.
They're clearly a good football team. They're 3-1. Like, we could acknowledge that maybe they're not going to win the division, but they're a good football team. They're playing like a good football team right now.
Yeah.
They're beating a team. They beat the
They're 3-1,
Bengals, who we thought were gonna fucking win their division, the toughest division in football.
I did not think they were gonna. I thought they were gonna make the playoffs, but I didn't think they were.
They beat the Bengals, who we thought were gonna be good.
But here's the thing: we're talking about a team that we thought was gonna be good, and then showed that they weren't good. Like shown that they are not good.
Yeah. I mean,
So we got to change our opinions on the wins as they come. So, look, I mean,
the win was Jayden Daniels having the best rookie quarterback performance of all time.
That's not sustainable. Like, Jayden's going to be awesome, but the best rookie performance of all time is what it took to win that game.
I mean,
that's
their offense has simply gotten better and better every week of the season so far. They've gotten better and better.
They faced worse and worse defenses.
They just steamrolled the Cardinals. The Cardinals were supposed to do that to them. The Cardinals were supposed to.
I do like what you said, that they're what everyone thought the Cardinals.
The Cardinals were supposed. The Cardinals were supposed to be this high-powered offense that couldn't play defense, and maybe potentially be a playoff team. And maybe people thought highly of the Cardinals. People thought the Cardinals were gonna. It is so. Like, I'm not saying you, Matt. I'm not saying Matthew J. Sullivan thought the Cardinals, but consensusly, people around the football community, this is objective, like, this is what happened, thought the Cardinals would be a fun, exciting, great offense that could
with a horrific defense.
That could stick around and potentially make the playoffs. And if the 49ers happen, this is the year that the 49ers take the collapse that all of us predicted might potentially happen. They could sneak around and win the division. Well, guess what? The two teams that are supposed to be in the running for this division, they are not who we thought they were. The Cowboys' defense sucks. Guess what? Just like the Commanders. Maybe it's not the worst in football like the Commanders, but the Cowboys' defense fucking sucks. And it's not getting better anytime soon without their best two edge rushers. And I don't give a fuck that the Eagles are going to get A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith back personally, because guess what? The guy throwing them the ball isn't a good fucking quarterback. He's maybe the 17th best quarterback in the NFL right now. He throws a turnover every single game. We're looking at Jayden Daniels, the most efficient quarterback in the NFL. Why are the Commanders winning games? Because they score on every single drive. What do the Eagles do? Turn the fucking rock over. What does Dak Prescott do when the moment gets bright and they need to win? Shrink. What is Jalen Hurts doing every time the Eagles need him over the past 2 years? Shrink and turn the fucking ball over. Those teams are trending down while the Commanders are trending upwards. I'm not saying it's a lock, but this is a lot more interesting than you think it is, because no one's walking in that door for the Cowboys. And yeah, the Eagles are getting those guys back, but as long as Uno, Hurts, Mr. Motivational Speaker,
Tyrod Taylor with motivational quotes.
Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth. Tyrod Taylor with motivational quotes is throwing those boys the ball. They are mid. They are fucking mid. And guess what? We want to talk about defenses sucking.
Ooh.
Their defense sucks too.
Not good.
These are three teams with good offenses, but dog shit defenses. And guess what? The Commanders have the best offense out of the group. So if they are all bad defenses and they're all going to, how are they going to be successful? Off the back of their offense. And guess what? The Commanders are literally the best offense of all fucking time through 4 weeks. They're the best offense of all fucking time. Fuck the Eagles, fuck the Cowboys, and fuck the team in blue. Commanders till I fucking die. I never left. They thought I left because Sam Howell left.
Right.
I tricked them. They didn't know that I drafted Jayden Daniels. They didn't know. Thank you, Matthew J. Sullivan, for drafting Brock Bowers in a Superflex league. Bro loves Brock Bowers. He loves him. But I know he wants Jayden Daniels. It's eating him alive. He offered me Brock Bowers and extra picks for Jayden Daniels after he drafted Brock Bowers ahead of Jayden Daniels. It's eating him alive.
Nom, nom, nom.
It's eating him alive.
So it's honestly turned out pretty good for me, given I also have Mark Andrews.
Right.
So I'm really not stressing it at all. I'll win another title this year, and then everyone will cry in the chat. But that's okay.
Should bring him.
But that's okay. And then I'll have 3 out of the 4 rings in this league. So that's
Trim.
You know,
we need you.
But everyone can talk their shit and have a great time. It's kind of similar to what the Commanders are doing right now. They could talk their shit and have a great time while they're 3-1, and then it's all going to collapse.
So you're saying the Commanders are Dean?
Does.
Wow.
Because Dean talks
What
the
a
most shit out of
comparison.
anyone.
and then doesn't win anything.
No, Dean.
and
Dean.
then doesn't
Anytime
win anything.
anyone says anything in our dynasty chat, it could be about like the Mets. He'll be like, "Well, Sully, I'm undefeated and you're not." Me and Trim are the only undefeated teams
Ridiculous
left.
thing ever, bro.
Dean has a tie. That's why he's not undefeated. He has
Dean
a
has
tie.
a fucking tie with Volpe.
Tie?
And he's
Yeah,
like,
insane.
he's like, can't be me. Yeah, it was nuts. Bro, they tied
The
to
first
to
time
like
ever,
100th
yeah.
of a decimal.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Like they have three
yeah.
numbers. It's whatever,
Oh,
whatever,
yeah,
and
that's
one.
crazy.
Yeah.
It was wild, but yeah, nah. I think the Commanders are a solid, fun team. I don't think they're going to be awful by any stretch of the imagination. I think they're an average football team. That's simply what I
Do you
think
think they'll make the playoffs?
I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I think there's too many NFC teams right now that are like legitimately in the hunt that I think are better football teams than the Commanders. I think you could be staring at, I mean, look, I don't like the NFC, I don't like the Chicago Bears, but would I take them to potentially make the playoffs? I do think their offense has a better chance of figuring it out than the Commanders' defense does of figuring it out. That's how I'll put it. And I also, I don't like the Bears going into this season. I didn't like them.
Wait.
I'm not betting on a Shane
So you're
Waldron
saying that
offense.
I'm putting all the teams out there that
The
I'd
Chicago,
rather-
you'd think the Chicago Bears have a better chance of making the playoffs than the Washington Commanders right now?
What are the Bears? 1-3?
2-2.
2-2?
Yes.
That's just nuts.
Yes.
They're in the better division and they're the worst team. Like how, Sway? How?
As I just said, I think they have a.
They're not like they're gonna
chance of
like
figuring it
like
out.
the Commanders could win the goddamn division. The Bears are getting in as a wild card team at
I think
best.
the Commanders can win the division. That's
They have
where
more
I'm
of a
at.
chance than the Bears.
I'm
That's
not disagreeing with
not
you.
debate. Yeah, that's not debatable.
That's not
Yeah.
what I'm debating, though. I'm saying that the Cowboys are still a better football team than the Commanders. I think the Cowboys would beat the Commanders right now. if
Bro,
they
the
played each other.
Cowboys could barely beat the team in blue.
Bro, you
Cowboys-
guys could barely beat the. You didn't beat the team in blue,
Right, so they
realistically.
could both barely beat the team in blue. They're the same team.
So maybe the team in blue isn't as bad as we think they are.
Let's not do
They're
that.
not top
Yeah,
20 in
let's not do
offense
that.
in yards or points per game,
Oh
bro. Come
my
on,
God.
So that sucks.
bro. Team in blue. We're not gonna mention what
But
their name
outside
is.
of them,
bro.
I mean, I think the NFC South has two teams that I think are better, have a better chance at making it than the Commanders do. I think
could
the
agree with
NFC
that.
West,
Yeah.
probably just the Niners. I wouldn't lean towards the Rams because of the injuries there. And then the NFC East, I think, has two.
Whoa, respect the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah. Apology. Yeah, I was going to mention the Rams, but yeah, the Seahawks. You're right. So I think
Seahawks defense is obviously not just as bad on paper, but just as bad, and they're not good, bro.
About that. I fully disagree
I know
with
they
that
were injured
statement.
last night, but they got fucking cooked last night.
Bro, the Lions are going to do that to people, bro.
By the Lions.
The Lions are simply going to do that to people.
Seattle defense looked really good.
Absolutely
for
not. Because
3
3 weeks
Against the
Seattle-
fucking Patriots and
It doesn't
You hold
Broncos.
that card when you're talking about the Bengals and the Giants that you guys
Bro,
beat?
they played the fucking Patriots, and Bo Nix had negative yards at halftime. That's who their defense played. That's impressive.
Bro, but it
they
doesn't
shut out
ma-
Bo
they
Nix,
had
the worst
3
quarterback to ever take a snap in the NFL.
But if you're going to talk shit
Nah,
about...
the Seahawks defense is better than the Commanders. I'm sure.
obviously,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I
if
think
you're
the
going to talk
Seahawks
shit about them playing bad offensive teams, you also have to mention the fact that the Commanders have simply played bad defensive teams over the last 2 weeks.
No, they
too.
have.
Yeah, that's the point.
No,
I was
yeah,
making.
yeah.
Which they have. It's
Yeah.
simply the truth. So,
Okay.
like, in general, I think that the Seahawks defense is a good unit, and it will be a good unit for the entirety of the year. I said that
I believe
coming
the
into the
Seahawks
year.
defense.
I said
I
that
think
coming
it's
into
gonna
the
be
year,
good.
and I still stick to that. The Lions are a wagon. We're about to learn that. The Lions are a goddamn
No,
wagon.
I'm very aware of that.
Right.
So it's just in general, I think the Seahawks have a better shot. Yeah, right. And I mean, look, the Rams are eventually going to return some pieces.
I'm out
So,
right now.
Come on, bro.
I don't know.
The Rams
I
are
wouldn't
in
take the Rams over the
shambles.
Commanders. They're 1-3, but I'm just saying there's 2 in the NFC West. There's potentially 3 that I would take over the Commanders right now in the NFC North. There's another 2 in the NFC East that I would take over the Commanders, and then there's 2 in the NFC South. So can they make the playoffs? Yeah, I'm not saying they can't make the playoffs, but I don't think they will. I don't think they're better than the Cowboys. I don't think they're better than the Eagles. I don't think they'll finish first or second in that division for that matter.